Very nice to see you all. It's been a little while since we've been on here, so make sure that you're commenting and sharing and getting on this amazing live. It's going to be fun tonight.
This is actually a very special edition. Why? Because it's real life, which is me and Trisha, and we have an amazing guest, Paul McFadden, who we are going to be talking everything property, everything business, and finance. So if you do have any questions, make sure you get your questions in here quick. You want to do it quickly so we can get them listed and get them answered for you. But here's the first thing I want you to do. First of all, it's bank holiday. So where are you on this bank holiday? Whereabouts are you? Let this be the test of who is here and who is looking to find out more about property, more about business, more about finance. And hey, listen, I think this discussion panel that you have in front of you today is open to answering anything. I'm sorry that I spoke on behalf of everybody, but I think we're open to answering anything. You know, because look, I don't know who came up with this first, but how you do anything is how you do everything. And when it comes to business or property or your finances or even your relationship or your family, listen, there are no problems in those areas. There are only personal problems that reflect in those areas. I'm on the beach in Tenerife. Awesome. Good. I love your commitment. Wi-Fi on the beach. Who would have thought it? Yeah. People in the airport. Hey, look, this is awesome. You're just about to board your flight, so maybe you won't see everything. Hey, awesome. You're in Preston. Need some help starting your property business? Well, you're in the right place, my friend. So if you have any specific questions, let us know quickly so we can get them listed down. But right, okay, this is where you are. But now what I want you to do is I want you to tag some people. So tag some other people so you at least give them the option and the chance to see this for themselves. And don't worry about if they're going to get annoyed or anything like that. Hey, look, everything happens for a reason. And if you decide or then their name comes up, I want to see who can tag the most people. I want to see who can tag the most people right now and share it in a place where you think this will be valuable. Hey, Sean. Hey, Louise. Hey, Ryan. Awesome to have you on here. So you need to tag as many people as possible who you know, who at least just you want to give the option for them to learn more about property, investing, business, how to run things as a business, and finance, and anything else you might want to ask around this subject that is awesome, that is creating a lot of freedom for a lot of different people. Hey, awesome. So well done, Sean, Ryan.
And I love this. We were talking about this earlier, which is what I quite love, is that we didn't realize it was the bank holiday today, because that's kind of what's happened to us these days. I remember the times where I was really looking forward to my Friday, and I was like, yeah, oh my God, my weekend's coming. I can't wait. Then I get to do what I want with my life for those 2 days. And now it's like bank holiday. Oh God, sorry, because I'm trying to ring my builders and my agents and everything, trying to get everything caught up because we've been away, and nobody's answering. And I'm like, what's going on with everyone? It's Monday. What's going on? But it's because it's bank holiday Monday. And I was like, oh God, technically, yeah, it's a Sunday for everyone, isn't it? So that's what's going on. And this is, listen, if you want to be in this position for yourself where you forget that it's a bank holiday because you're just living life full time and enjoying yourself and doing what you want when you want, then absolutely get your questions in here and ask away as to how you could do it for yourself, because we did it. We were in a position, you know, only 2.5 years ago where we were in jobs full time. We had to look forward to bank holidays off and weekends off. And now it's like we're just living our purpose. It's actually our anniversary today as well. It's our 14-year anniversary. And today we're just excited.
And Trisha booked in on this day.
Yeah,
Trisha booked this session for today. So I didn't get anything in the neck or anything like that because it wasn't anything to do with me. So look, questions coming in. So that's awesome. Keep tagging people. You need to give people the opportunity to at least see if this is something they want to hear. This is something they want to see. This is something they want to take part in. But right now, I want to get straight into it, get the discussion going. This tonight, my friends, is a discussion on various topics around property investing, building business in property, finance, and anything else that you guys might want to ask that we might stray on to, because that's all that happens, and it's good. And we're here to give you whatever it is you need, not just what we think you need. So whatever it is you need, you let us go. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring Paul on, and he's going to do a quick introduction for himself so he can let you know who he is, and then we're going to get straight into the discussion. So let us bring Paul on. I think we're getting quite good at this now. So, hey.
Yes, there he is. Hey, Paul.
Hello. So comment if you can see Paul. Is he on here? Can you see him? Let me see your comments. Can you hear us okay, Paul?
Yes. Happy anniversary, guys. 14 years. Wow.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, listen, we want to get an introduction from you first, just so people know who you are, what your experience is. So if you want to do that, then we'll get straight into it.
Great. So thanks for having me on. You guys are awesome. We met what? About a month or so ago, we were down at the Sky Studios recording for Property TV, which was fun. Must admit, you guys made it very entertaining, which was good. And then, yes, my background is pretty much all property related. I got involved in property at the young age of 19, so this has been me involved in property for going on 13 years now. And so from the accent, you should probably hear, I'm based up north in Scotland. However, we do a lot of business throughout the UK and throughout Europe and in Central America, where my wife is from in Costa Rica. So we do have a number of different property businesses, other business interests as well. But over the last 12 so years, we can jump into some of this stuff on tonight's call, or if there's any questions or so forth. You know, it's just started off the usual way and building up a property portfolio, really using other people's money, because I had no money of my own when I got started, and that was a bit of a roller coaster of a journey, building that up. And over the last few years, we built up several different related property businesses, and really over the last few years, we've started to get involved in new build development, acquiring a lot of land, having our own property fund as well, which we do a lot on that side of things. And we have our education side of the business as well, which for you guys, which we'll be doing. So that's high-level recap. Enough about me. High-level guys, we'll get some I'm happy to guys. Questions or just I'm happy to take questions or just discuss and talk about anything.
Awesome. So let's just. I think some people are saying there's an echo. Is that echo still there? Now you can't hear anything. Now you're going to you need to tell me. You need to tell me quickly. You need to comment quickly. There's too much echo. What we got? You just speak for a second, Paul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that, Paul. You're definitely Scottish. Somebody said, ask him to slow down. That's it. Yes, I know it.
So hold on. Is there still an echo, guys? Why is this one?
Sorry, I was just checking it for myself. But yeah,
and is there an echo? Is it bad?
Absolutely.
There's still an echo. You need to say yes, there's an echo, or yes, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yes, echo. Okay. So let's. We're gonna have to drop the. We're gonna drop the Zoom. Okay. So we're just gonna drop out of that. Shame. But hey, how is that now? Can you hear us, Paul? If you speak now.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay. So guys, let us know if this is good. Is this good now? Is this good? Can you hear? Is the echo gone? Let us know. Comment.
Yeah, the echo's gone.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You speak. They're saying it's from Paul's side. So you speak, Paul, but you just listen.
Things seem all good my side. Hello. Okay, so I think you guys are saying it's okay now.
Is it good? That's better, people are saying?
Yeah, it's good. Excellent.
It's good?
Yes, it's fine.
Good even from Paul's side?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
We got listen,
good.
This is the great thing about what we do, is that nothing ever goes to plan, really, but you roll with the challenges and you find a solution. So we found a solution, all good.
All good.
So unfortunately, just in short, because I think of the echo, people couldn't really understand a lot about it, but Paul is a fantastic individual. What he was saying was that he started out in property when he was 19, very similarly to us, very early on. So very, very big in the industry, lots of experience, 13 years in property. So lots and lots of exciting and big information that he can share, and lots of amazing advice that he can give as well alongside us, so we can have a good chat tonight.
So the big discussion is, we've been seeing a lot of comments, a lot of people have been asking. I know there's a lot of people who are just on the sidelines, not even playing the game, who want to comment on this subject as well. But it is of interest to everybody. So let's get everybody's opinion on what is this whole thing about recession coming and it's going to crash and then everybody goes bankrupt. So what's your opinion on this, Paul?
Yeah, well, the recession's coming, that's for sure. There's no question about that. But a funny thing I always say to people that I work with, or those who are thinking about getting involved in property, is that you don't have a property business if it's cycle dependent. So you want to make sure, because property, there's many different strategies, you want to make sure that you understand which strategy is the best to use in whatever market condition it is. So over the last few years, we've seen a buoyant market. London's an exception to that, because London has really been affected with the whole chat about Brexit and so forth, and they're still trying to figure out what the heck's going on there anyway. But you don't have a business. You really don't have a business if it's just cycle dependent. You know, arguably it's easier to make money in property right now than ever before. And for those who are serious about property, and with all the indicators pointing towards a recession that will definitely happen inside the next 24 months. Hey, it could be in the next 6, 12 months. No one's got a crystal ball, but there's a lot of indicators, and we can dig in a little bit deeper. The reason why I believe there's going to be a recession, it's very different to what was happening in 2008. But regardless, you need to get that advantage, that edge now. The last thing you want to be doing for anybody who's thinking about getting involved in property is wait until it's too late. Now, it's never too late, but you want to get that edge. You want to start building things up now. You want to start getting your reputation out there, making connections, networking with the right people, getting the right knowledge, starting things off, so you have that edge when things start to turn. So that's something I always say to people. You need to get the right knowledge, and you don't have a property business if it's cycle dependent.
Awesome. So what, in brief, what are the indicators and what is different from last time?
Yeah, so 2008, it was all about subprime mortgages. So those in the UK will understand and remember Northern Rock days, where mortgages, they were given at 120% loan to value. So just to help those who are maybe not familiar with property, that means if your property's worth 100,000, Northern Rock would give you 120. And that's how crazy it was. You know, so they weren't just giving you, they were basically paying you money for buying a house. It's stupidity. And what you're going to see different this year round is that the crash, because the tipping point in 2008 was Lehman Brothers going down, but this time it's going to be one of the European banks, whether it's Deutsche Bank or one of the Italian banks. And then you've got so much craziness happening in China right now as well. So China's going to be the tipping point. You're going to see Europe is in for a massive shock. You know, you've got Germany right now that's negative interest rates, which that means if you've got £100,000 in the bank at the end of a year, you have lost money. It's crazy to think. And what that is to try and stimulate the economy. It's to get people to take money out of their bank and to spend the money, but no one's spending. So you're really seeing a lot of issues throughout Europe right now. There's a lot of panics and so forth. The G7 summit was today or over the weekend, and it seems like Donald Trump is figuring things out with China. I love or hate the guy, it doesn't matter whether, you know, all the chatter that he's saying and what he's talking about, he's taking all the credit right now for the US economy being booming and so forth, but no president is responsible for that. This is all economics playing itself out. And what you'll probably noticed if you're interested in this kind of stuff, and I am, and maybe I'm just sad, but I am interested in all this kind of stuff, but you see all the Democrats at the Democrat debates all talking about this global recession that's coming. And over a 72-hour window, you saw all the news outlets in the States, so many publications online talking about a global recession, when a week ago there was very little chat. And the reason why, and this is all getting played out, is because the Democrats want to be back in power. So they are using the whole reason, the fact that we are going into a recession regardless, they want to blame it all on Donald Trump, because Donald Trump is good at taking credit for how good the economy is, but can he take the credit for when it goes down? Then they want to blame Donald Trump for being the man, but no president is responsible. So it's just fascinating to watch all of this stuff. I keep a pulse on the market, but I love the Warren Buffett quote, and that is, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. So for me, one of my biggest regrets, and I don't have many, was that during the 2008 recession, when we were into 2009, 10, it was like a few years where it was not so pretty. I should have went more aggressive. You know, I made too much money far too quick. And when you're young and a little bit silly when it comes to money management and too much money coming in, you kind of do the wrong things. And I just blew my brains out spending too much money, buying the flash cars, the house, you know, spending money like there was no tomorrow. And thankfully I did invest a portion of it. But what I should have done is went more aggressive, because I was picking up unbelievable deals. I was helping so many people that got themselves into a tricky situation. I was helping build so many people's portfolios as well as my own, and ultimately built my property business. And I'm going to make sure that I'm positioned right now to take full advantage of when the market starts to change. But we're still utilizing the strategies that are working today, because what you do want through a recession is you want freaking cash flow. You've got to have cash flow. And if anybody thinks their job is a form of cash flow, then trust me, when the economy stops spending and things start getting hit, there will be layoffs all over the place, you know, so you've really got to be aware. Now, just to quickly touch on something, guys, because everyone panics about what happens if the banks don't lend any more money and if the banks fail. Well, the ones that are going to fail are your high street traditional banks, the ones that have already had government bailouts. And if anybody is going to them for lending, that's the last place you would go. So all your challenger banks, they're going to thrive through this because they've been lending money responsibly and doing things very well. We have our own fund. We'll be going more aggressive if a recession happens, because we're lending to property professionals, those that have a track record, those that are doing things right. Hence why getting started now to build up that track record over the next 6 to 12 months, 24 months, you'll be very well positioned. So it's exciting times.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing is, because we see the comments all the time about, oh, when the recession comes, that's it. If you're in negative equity. And it's like, isn't there just one simple thing, that a negative equity is only a problem if I need to sell? Or am I missing something? Because it's like, if I don't need to sell my house, who cares what it's worth at this time? If it's paying me money, I don't need, like, what's the problem? And like you say, and we'll move on to what strategies are most lucrative in which cycles in a moment. But like there are strategies that work no matter what is happening. You know, like when people come to our training, we don't just say, you know, do this, do that. It's like, you got to learn principles, not, oh, the market is like this right now, so let's invest like this. Because if something changes, and I see it all the time, not just in property, but in any business, that people have their strategy that is reliant on a way something works, like a way a Facebook algorithm works, or the way a bank lends money, you know, or the way that you can buy and refinance, you know, within a couple of days. You know, all of those things, people's strategies were reliant on that particular process or regulation or rule, and as soon as something changes, that's it, they're finished. So it's like there is a strategy, and there are ways to make money, whether it's going up, down, sideways, circles, it doesn't matter. But obviously, like you say, you just got to know what it is that you are doing. Because
and also diversify. Like we always say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't just have one. Like we have 7, 8 different areas that we invest in different strategies. So we're totally diversifying ourselves so that if something does change in a particular area, then we'll just uplift this area a bit more. But a lot of it, like Mark was saying about, well, if it goes down and you're then in negative equity, well, a lot of what we create is like a business asset. And like generally what we'll do is refinance them on a 10-year fixed mortgage with a commercial bank who lend responsibly, like you say. So we're good for 10 years. We know, especially when a recession hits, that particular asset is going to be fantastically lucrative even still, because it's affordable living for people at the same time. So it creates cash flow for us, affordable living for them, because if a recession hits, it's even worse to find somewhere to live for these people. And we're creating those affordable assets, but high cash flow, which is exactly what you need, like you said, in the recession.
But this is why being a true business person,
treating it like a business
is this, I don't know what you want to call it, the skill, the key, the secret, or what? Because at the end of the day, we can all look out for these things that may happen. And I know you say a recession is coming, but the truth is nobody knows. You know, if it's going to happen, it does happen. If it's tomorrow, if it's 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. I mean, who actually knows? I don't think anybody knows.
No, it's happening. No, there's many economists talking about this, highly respected people that would not say something if it wasn't happening. So no one knows the day that it's going to be announced. But here's the indicator: you must have 2 negative quarters to be declared a recession, and we haven't had 1 negative quarter yet. So there's 4 quarters of the year. So we've got 1 more quarter left, and if it's announced that we have had a negative GDP, then that puts us into notice. But you need 2 consecutive quarters to have dropped before you're declared in a recession. So watch out for the next indicator, which will be over the next few months. And if we are, pretty sure it will be inside the next 6 months. If it doesn't, it'll be the middle or the end of next year. So even when we see the first indicator, it needs to be 2 quarters in a row. And it doesn't mean that when we go into a recession, that overnight house prices just get slashed by X%. It's going to be a slow process. It's not like overnight things drop. So this is where people need to stop panicking, because let's say it was 6 months from now that we are declared to be in a recession because we've had 2 negative quarters. That doesn't mean it's just done. It doesn't mean that overnight house prices drop X%. That will happen over years. So this is why people are sitting there waiting. It's just fucking crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I totally get that. And one part of me says that, okay, yeah, this is going to happen. It may happen. It may not happen. But at the end of the day,
we don't focus on it.
Because I've been in business, and I don't know if it's once or twice, definitely once, 2008. And if you are a business person and you're working off principles that have always worked and always will work, which is being able to produce income, which is being able to build teams, which is being able to systemize and manage things, then no matter what happens, you're going to be able to make money. It's just, no matter what happens. I mean, and I'll tell you why. It's because there's always things that you just cannot account for. You just cannot account for what may happen. Even in individual, I don't know about you, Paul, I'm sure that it's the same, but like individual property projects, even like cookie cutter kind of things like flipping, doing HMOs where we've done many of the same type of deal, there are still things in each and every individual deal that you just can't account for that happens. I know that's on a tiny scale compared to a whole economy, but they're just things that you cannot account for. But I like what you say. What's the point in waiting? Like, what are you waiting for?
But it's that negative mindset that really just holds people back, because it's like,
and that puts you in the recession in the first place.
Exactly, because they're focusing on it. But equally, at the same time, I liked what Paul said before about, people. This is what we say to our investors, so people that we work with that invest in our deals, people that invest in our students' deals and things like that. they are losing it. So even if they're not with, the banks in Germany and Europe and things like that you were talking about, but the ones that have got money in the bank, they're making little to nothing. But actually, even if they are making 8.3% or whatever in the bank, they are losing money because currency's going down. So it's like unless you're making your money work for you and actually investing and growing it to obviously working on property deals, things like that, where you can get 10+% annually on some fantastic deals, working brilliantly as long as you do your due diligence and you've worked the deal and made sure it works for you.
Yeah, but regardless of whether it's whatever percent, it's like even someone in a job, because a lot of people, and I don't know about the kind of people that come to your trainings, Paul, but like people who come to us, sometimes we have people who are in very, like they call comfortable jobs, over 100 grand a year. And it's like, they think, they're comfortable. But if someone is in that type of job anyway, and they have that kind of mindset, then I'm sure they can transfer over to business, especially if they come to our training and they go through some of the processes that we teach, because once you realize the potential of what you can earn, then you got to realize that this costing me money. If I'm earning 100 grand a year, but I could be making, $1 million, it's costing me 900K. And it's like, if you look at it like that, and you can do it in less time, because let's face it, Absolutely. Most jobs, it's like, it's a time trade-off, isn't it? There's a time trade-off. I've got to put so much time in and then I pay so much money. In property, sometimes if we want to work all week, yeah, go on.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, if we want to work all week, flat out 18 hours a day, then we do that. If, next week we want to do 2 hours a day because we want to spend time with our kids, then we do that. Like in a job, it's not really realistic. It's just not possible.
Yeah. I mean, the idea when you're investing in property is people think you need lots of money. Now, I'm testament to that you don't, because when I got started in property, I never had any money. I mean, what 19-year-old has money? When I was 19, I was already in student debt. I'd already maxed out credit cards and loans, and I wasn't investing that money. I was spending that on things that you stupidly do when you're 19 and 20. But thankfully, the investment I made was an investment in myself in terms of getting education, because I had to work on my mindset and so forth. But then when you start to get some business principles, when you've been in the game for quite some time and having a roller coaster, what you start to realize, and this is what we teach, and I'm sure you guys are the same, is that you can either raise money, you can use other people's money, investors' money, you can creatively structure the deals, you're putting no money in. But the key is that from the initial pot of cash, if you're buying with the right principles, doing the right due diligence, more importantly, having the right investment criteria, then you have none of your own money at risk, because the whole idea is in this quickest and shortest period of possible time is to get your money back out. So my whole portfolio could lose 70% overnight, 100%. It could lose 100% of its value, and it makes no difference because all of my money is out of the portfolio and it's still producing an income. So that's the key. Now, it's not going to drop 100%. That's just ludicrous. But there will be a drop. You're going to find London will have the biggest drop in the UK, mainly because it never had a correction during 2008. It just kept on going. So it's the last couple of years. And by the way, that should be exciting for people.
Yes, I know. I was just about to say, yes, bring it to me.
Yeah. Because everybody says, oh, I wish I could, have invested in London 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Well, you're going to get your chance very soon over the next few years, And it's not something where, you're only going to get a short period of time to make it happen. This is going to be the sale of a century, and we only get one shot of this. I'm not talking about a recession. There will be many more recessions in our lifetime, but this is the 80-90-year cycle where they're talking it's going to be a Great Depression. And what separates a Great Depression between a recession, it just means it's going to be a longer period of recovery. And that just means there's a much bigger period for wealth to be created. All the greatest companies, wealth was created during recessions. You can get back in history and study this stuff. I've spent copious amounts of time. This is just one bookcase, but I've spent so much time studying people who have created wealth. That's why I've got wealth at the end of my name, Paul McFadden Wealth, because I've studied what makes people wealthy, and I've applied it in my businesses. And it's in times like this is where serious wealth is created. It's exciting.
Definitely is. And this whole mindset of when things tighten up, I think that is what causes the length or the, I don't know what you want to call it, damage or whatever it is, because people stop spending, which means if I'm not buying stuff, then the people I normally buy stuff off are not making any money, which means if they're not making any money, they can't buy stuff. So the people who they buy off, it's like I got the advice from Grant Cardone. He said, some people, they say, I got my first £1 I ever earned, and I keep it. And he said, the thing is, if you're just holding on to your money, you're not making room for new money and more money. And I didn't get it for ages. And then it makes sense that like the more you let it go, the more it comes back to you. But for the way we are brought up in the education system and the society and all the media that tells you, that just doesn't make sense. But when you understand it, it makes perfect sense. You got to let it go so that then it comes back. And, when you do that, you realize that it comes back more. And it comes back more, and especially in property. Joint venturing, using other people's money. People are like, why do you keep using other people's money? And it's like, I don't mind other people getting rich. Like, I don't mind other people getting rich because it's more that's flowing. And, and if I tie everything up and I'm not using other people's money and a sexy deal comes along and I'm not known in the market for borrowing other people's money, producing good outcomes, successful projects. If I'm not known for that and then I need it, then I'm, probably not going to get it because I'm going to come across desperate. And that's what a lot of people do. And just going back to what you're saying before about this whole people waiting or, is it going to drop? Should I buy it then? I'm not going to buy now. It's at the peak and all the rest of it. There's one secret. People say there's no secrets, hard work and all the rest of it. And I mean, that might be true, but the secret is you've got to be in the game. That's what I believe the secret is, because if you're in the game, at least you do something and you can test, you can tweak, you go again. You can correct and then continue, correct and continue. Just keep doing that. If you're not in the game, and something changes, it's not real.
You've not learned.
The people who are waiting and say, I wish I bought 5 years ago. If they're going to go and invest now, it's like, yeah, but you don't know how you're going to be in this situation because you're not emotionally involved. There's no emotion. There's no like skin in the game. So you don't know how you're going to be. You don't know that you would have invested. You don't know you'd have made those decisions. And then you go in, it's like you were in at 19. I mean, we started we bought a house to live in at 19, but we didn't start investing in property until 2017. So, if you want to look at time, some people might say that this is quite a short time that we've been in. And some people even question, how can we, even train someone after this amount of time? And, my clear answer to that is it doesn't matter what the subject is. My skill is training people, whatever it is. And that's how we got through recession. Last time I was in a software business selling a luxury product. It was a luxury, definitely not a necessity. And through training people in the business, training people to sell, training people customer service, that was the key. And I don't know why you got into the training, business, but I kind of was accidentally in there because I just became a trainer through. It was the way for our business to survive. This is training people. Like people say, I want to hire the best people. Who are these people? They're already doing it for themselves. You got to create the people. That was our method anyway. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah. Before I get into that, just to touch on, I mean, I just bought 2 properties last week. I've got 4 more going through this week. So I'm not stopping. So I'm primarily for myself doing buying flips. So some people may say, well, why on earth are you doing buying flips? Because you make money when you buy. If anybody thinks you're just going into an estate agent and saying, I'll have that one and I'll pay whatever you're asking for it, I mean, that's you just acting like the amateur. There's got to be a lot of thought process around. I'm sure you guys will teach that stuff. We teach that as well to make sure that you're cherry picking the best deals and all that kind of stuff. I mean, in short, for me getting involved in the training side of things, I made my first $1 million at the age of 25. I lost that at the age of 26. because I blew my brains out. And then I realised, well, wait a wee minute, I need to get my head screwed on. I need to.
Did you have a wee swally?
I had many wee swallies. that was my problem, you know. Partying Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, hungover for the start of the week. And I realised I had to build a business, and then I built things back up relatively quickly. And so by the age of 27, I started building things and starting having it much more, stable. And I had people reaching out and saying, Paul, you've made the money, you've lost the money, you've made it. Can you show me what you've been doing? So I would just help some people at the beginning. And one thing I always believe is you've got to place value in your knowledge. I've invested hundreds of thousands. I'm not talking about a few thousand, I'm talking about hundreds of thousands. I have millionaire and billionaire mentors, and they come at a price, their knowledge. And sometimes it's just one little piece of knowledge that makes the biggest difference. So I know the power of investing in myself. I always go with the attitude is you don't know what you don't know. And ignorance is not bliss in 2019. You've got so much resources available at your fingertips. And for me, I then started placing value on that, and I would charge for my time. And thankfully our brand has grown, and and I've got to speak on some phenomenal stages. I'm speaking at the European Real Estate Convention in Poland this month. I'm in Dublin. I come down and visit you guys. I was in London the weekend there. I just love, just like you guys, listen, it's a passion thing. If it's one thing I could do till the day I die, it would be education and training people, not just in property, but in wealth creation. And I don't care what anybody says, you've got to place value on your knowledge. So if you guys have had rapid success in the first couple of years or the last couple of years, that comes with value. And
Absolutely.
People should pay for that, because what's taken me 13 years to build a business, I'm helping people do that in a fraction of the time. I'm jealous at how quick your success is in comparison to the long success it took me.
This is what we said. We've got people doing deals in our tribe that are bigger than we've even done, because that's what we want. What their outcome is and what they want is very different to what we want. And as long as they're doing what they want to do, we'll give them the tools and they just go do it, and they're just smashing it. It's such that in itself is a massive win for us, because we get to see their success, and we want people to succeed, not be like, we totally agree with you on the investing in yourself and the trainers. We are as well. We have like 5-6 different coaches, mentors right now that are multiple success in lots of different industries, because we like to get all different facets of training and like combine them to create the kind of success that we did. And obviously we wanted to do it quite fast, because I was extremely eager to get out my job fast. I was pregnant with our third daughter. Mark was doing crazy hours at work, and I was like, I've had enough. So we were like, I said, yeah, but I want to get out by here. And they were like, that's a bit quick. And 2 deals is too much for somebody first in it. You have 7. And I went, yeah. And I'm keeping all of them, like when we first began, because I was like, hang on, I'm eager. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to make sure it works. And it's all about investing in the right people, to surround yourself with the right networks, like you said, with your training.
You've got to invest. And I tell you what it is there's always, I always see it in the industry, or maybe it's my own little voice, but there's always a little voice of someone. Sometimes they don't invest anything and they're just like, oh, this is a scam. Other people are like, they invest and then they do a little bit and they're like, oh yeah, I've invested now, so that's cool. My method, I'll just speak for myself, is I will never not have a coach. That's for me, not having a coach is crazy. Like you say, it's that one gem. And I used to, when I first started investing, I was like measuring, like, oh my God, it cost me this much per session. What did I get from this session? Is this even worth it? And that is a stupid mindset to have. I was just being a tight ass, thinking that, it's that instant gratification thing. Yeah, it's crazy, because at the end of the day, now in the last couple of years, we spent well over 200 grand on coaching, training, mentoring, and all of that. And it's like, I don't regret.
And we'll continue to do so, because it's made us.
Yeah, I don't regret anything,
times more.
because at the end of the day, whatever happens in the market, and this is why it's so important, because whatever happens in the marketplace, you can't take that away from me. You you can't, you can take my money, we can lose some money, you could lose some houses, who cares? You can't take away, you know, my knowledge, you know, the development of me, of who I am, the person I've become.
The ability to do it again.
The ability to do it again. You know, it's not a problem. It's the mindset. You know, Donald Trump, you know, made all the money, lost all the money, made it all again.
Yeah,
you know, and this
more
guy's
money than he'd made before.
At his age, everyone gives him the stick. You can say what you want about it.
But he's an amazing businessman.
This guy's a legend, doing what he's doing at this age. He's just having fun. And, you know, he's wanting to add value to people while he's doing it as well.
And he just wanted to be a president for a laugh, really, just to prove that he could.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's just business people are probably the best people to be in that position, in my opinion. It's just my opinion.
I mean, what's your opinion on,
There's a funny quote that I read and relating it to business or being in a job or being an entrepreneur. And it was, what if I invest in my staff and then they leave me? And the
I know
response
this quote.
was,
I love this.
What if you don't invest in them and they stay?
Yeah.
So business people know, they understand. We invest tens of thousands of pounds in our staff. So even staff need to get new knowledge and education. So, you know, most people, when they're thinking, no, will I pay for that knowledge to learn about X and whatever, they need to ask themselves, has their employer, that's just assuming that most people are working in a full-time job. I know that's not the case, but has the employer ever invested in you? You know, so it's the same principles, but there is no better investment that you can ever make in yourself, because it's your knowledge. You could take all my portfolio away from me. You know, you could take all my wealth, everything away from me, but you can't take my knowledge. And that's how you hear so many stories of successful people, for whatever reason, they've lost it and built it back up in a rapid period of time.
Absolutely. And I love that, because I think there is a quote, and I can't think of it, but it's something along the lines of treat your employees and grow them so that they can leave, but treat them so well that they don't want to leave. So like grow entrepreneurial spirit in your business and treat them so well that they don't want to leave, because they want to be part of the mission. They want to grow with the mission. It's amazing.
Listen, I got one more thing on this subject, and then we want to do some quick fire answers, some questions that people have, you know, commented. But I see it all the time. There's a lot of haters out there that say, you know, scam, this, that, the other. I mean, I'm not too interested in paying too much attention to that. But are there good trainers? Are there bad trainers? What's this whole industry like? Is it, you know, everybody's looking to add value? What's your opinion, and what have you seen since you've been in this game?
Yeah, so, I mean, I know most people who are involved in this game. I mean, I get together and catch up with the most recognized names all the time. I'm with a whole bunch of them in a couple of weeks. Most people will know exactly who I'm talking about. It's the main players involved in property. And I think as a whole, we're all generally trying to do good and help people. I don't think anybody, and I'm sure there is a few, I don't think anybody's out there to rip people off. If they are, they deserve to be outed, and more importantly, be put out of business, you know. But if you're doing things with the right ethics, generally want to support people and help people. And a lot of people don't understand this and see that if I can educate and train and teach people and my principles that clearly work, that's going to help them create wealth for themselves
quicker.
I've also trained but I've also trained potential business partners to go on and do lots of stuff. Hence why we do, I mean, I've lost count of the joint ventures, and whether it's us lending my trainees, my clients money, or them coming in on deals, or they bringing deals to us, it's the perfect business model. Now, all education is good. There's some that's better than others. My take on someone who's thinking about education is just find someone that you resonate with. And if it's you guys, then freaking awesome. If it's someone else, then let it be that person. You know, there's enough to go around, and the best trainers with the right ethics, with the right support of getting results for their clients, they'll be around for a long time. They'll have longevity in their business, and they'll have a lot of people, you know, shouting and raving about the success they've had. But here's the thing, no trainer has a magic pill. The magic pill is you applying the knowledge. You know, I have a disclaimer every one of my presentations, and that is, this information will not make you rich. It's only if you apply it.
Absolutely.
And that's the key. You as an individual must apply. And if you go and apply it once and it doesn't work, does that mean it doesn't work? No. It's like you don't have overnight success. You look at people who have had overnight success, but that overnight success was more like 5, 6, 10 plus years, you know? So there's no argument that wealth beyond your wildest dreams can be made through property. I know no other vehicle that comes close. And if you've got the right mentors, the right people to guide you, you're only going to create, you know, whatever wealth means to you. You know, replace your full-time income. Make £2,000 to £5,000 a month. To make 6 figures, to make 7 figures, you know, whatever it is for you, that's what it's all about. And property can do all of those things. But find someone you resonate with and get to work.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree because that's why we don't mind having people who we know
are also property
trainers.
We don't care.
Doesn't make any difference to me. Like you say,
don't compete, collaborate is our motto.
And it's like we do the right thing for the right reasons. We add enough value to people. You know, they'll find the right people will find us. The right people will find you. The right people will find everyone else. You know, some people might come across some people who, you know, it doesn't work out. I mean, people spend a lot of money on training because here's the difference. Yeah, you know. Let's define education. I think education sometimes is actually just information being passed across. And my experience, I can't talk for anyone else, but my experience is information alone is not enough. You know, there's a transformation that has to happen, because if you, the person, was gonna do that anyway, then you would already be doing it. You know, so yes, we need information. I'm not saying we don't need information, and we absolutely do need it. It's very important. But the real stuff is like who you are. Like you say, the pill is applying it, and that can only come from who you are. You know, so I know that's what is our absolute key. Yes, information is important. You got to transfer that information, but transforming the people to become someone greater than they are. That's when I ever invest in training, that's what I'm looking for. You know, yeah, I want the info, but let's face it, the info is everywhere. Look, the info is on here, and we're going to give you some rapid fire answers right now, because information is not hard to find. Transforming to become someone bigger than you currently are, to be able to apply the information. That's the difference, because the information is the same, and that's why someone can sit in a room and receive the exact same information, and one person fly, and the other people say, "Oh, this doesn't work." You know, so that's kind of, you know, I think we're in agreement on that. So let's quick fire some answers.
So there's a good one here. So somebody's asked, would you say development / new builds is a good strategy, especially with the recession imminent? In 2008, the builders were the first to lose their jobs.
I actually was a builder who lost a job in that recession. So I get that.
The problem back then is people were buying land at astronomical prices, you know, and my developments. So we've got one development that's 55 million GDV, gross development value. You know, there's 2,500 residential units and a whole bunch of commercial side to it as well. We've got right down to 10 units. So we're still developing, and we're not concerned. Why? Because first and foremost, we've bought the land at the right price, not an inflated price. And 2, our valuations were done conservatively, not based on inflated valuations and what you're seeing in today's market. So again, it all goes down to due diligence. Anybody pre-2008, let's just face it, they were so fucking stupid, it was frightening when it came to what they would place in offers. You know, and that's me just being as polite as I can get. It was just stupidity.
Yeah. I don't think anything else to add on that. Let's quick fire this.
I love that. And then somebody else put,
what's the best strategy to use in a recession? That's come up a few times.
Well, yeah, this could be a lot of things though. So I mean, strategy wise, like Paul was saying before, I think make sure that you've got something that is a hold strategy but like diversify. You can do a bit of both. Just due diligence is always the case. And I completely agree that you make your money when you buy. So as long as you're not buying stupidly and for, you know, inflated pricing, and you're adding value, which is going to be valued correctly when you're trying to sell it, but also make sure you have multiple exits. We have at least 3 exits on any deal we do, any deal. So that we know, should we not be able to sell it, it will switch into this or it will switch into this. Like there's always a different out for us.
And don't be afraid to change. I mean, we have changed at late stages.
Yeah.
As well. Like even halfway through projects, we've changed our mind. Like we were flipping one, then we changed our mind to HMO, and then we changed our mind back to a flip. You know, so like don't be afraid to change. I mean, that might sound crazy to some people.
Yeah, because we were watching the market in that area. So
yeah, exactly, but that's the thing. People go, "Oh no, this is how I started it," and you know, I'm being
finish
careful,
what I start,
and I need certainty, and you know, all that stuff. It's like you got to do. It's not about what you want. It's about what's the market going to say? What's the business result? What's the end result? It's like when you train people, you can't just train them what you want to know, or you want them to know. You got to train them what they need. You know, so in the market and in your deal, you got to don't be afraid to change, because you got to do what's needed in that situation. Anything to add on that, Paul? Or what's the best strategy for the recession?
But well, if there's a recession and that's the best thing to build your portfolio, because you're picking up property at the right price. You know, it's the best time to build that portfolio. And I would always suggest property trading, where you source deals and sell them on to other investors, preferred investors and so forth, because that's going to be strong cash flow. I mean, during the last recession, there was still plenty of estate agents selling property. There was still plenty of people buying property. You know, there's this illusion that everything stops. It doesn't. The world still goes on. Those who are affected are those who did not have the right principles. The properties that I've just sold over the last 6 months that have went way over market value, those people will be affected, unfortunately, you know. And those who keep sound business principles and have the whole mindset of you make money when you buy, those people will be perfectly fine, you know. So build your portfolio, trade property, and have the right cash flow and strategies. I know you guys teach a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. Buying in times where, you know, other people are running. It's like this other question. Someone's asked rent to rent. Is this real? Is this a scam? Does rent to rent work, or is it a scam? That was another question we had. So what do you think about rent to rent?
Yeah, so
I mean, obviously, it definitely does work. It's not a scam. You know, it definitely does work. So to answer your question bluntly, it definitely works. But what's your thoughts on it, Paul?
Yeah, I don't mind the strategy, but many people are not doing it in the right manner. And what I mean by that is that if the lender doesn't give you the consent to do a sublet contract, there's too many people just going ahead and doing that anyway. And let's say they do it with the whole Airbnb stuff and do short-term lets, and there's a neighbour that complains, and they look into that and they find out that, wait a wee minute, have they got the permission to do short-term lets? And they find out and do the digging on the lender, and the lender has not given the permission to do a sublet. They can still get consent to let, but not a sublet. Then that is deep shit for every single person involved, you know. So you've got to really be careful with that strategy. Done right, you can make a lot of money, and you've got to go in there with the right business mind to have longevity in that strategy.
But what do you think?
I've got a strong opinion on rent.
No, because I don't want to forget. Yeah, so like, because I get it, and I know a lot of people making money. There's a lot of people in our tribe who make it a lot of money, and there's people who are making a lot of money who can share all of the, you know, expertise and all the strategies on what it is that they're doing. I just think most of the time people go into that because they think, I don't have any money, so this is the one I go into. But from what I can see, you still got to put the work in, and you still need money if you're going to create a gap between what you're paying the guaranteed rent and what then you're going to need rent to rent it out as, you know, like a finished product, like a done up product. So you still need money, and then that cash flow's got to either pay that money back or pay you the money back in some way, and then you don't own it at the end of the day either. So it's like, it definitely works. It definitely creates cash, but I just can't see.
I'll be honest. Like
the longevity, it's not wealth.
People in the tribe are doing rent to rent very successfully, and it's working really well for them. I personally don't do rent to rent. My opinion is just like Mark was saying. I want to own it. If I'm going to put all the work in,
it's not about owning it.
I want to own it at the end.
It's about wealth.
Yeah, but
it generates cash if you do it properly, but then your cash still needs to be paid back if you're borrowing it out of the cash flow, because you've got to put money in it to make it a better,
whatever you want to make,
more viable product, right?
And like literally, by the way, the best HMO officer in the UK is currently commenting away because he's amazing, and he's just saying, which is quite right, with rent to rent, you've got to be careful because it opens you up to a heap load of enforcements, which he said, believe me, I know. Tenancy agreements are very tenacious. What's he saying?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, you can still,
tenants,
but you can still make some money. You know, you can still make a lot of cash. And I know people who are making a lot of cash, and I made a lot of cash. Yeah, if you do it properly. But I'm just saying, I think most people, they think they're going to go into it because they don't have to buy a house, they don't have to get mortgages, and they don't have to raise money.
Yeah.
You know, okay, you don't have to buy the house, you don't have to raise money from a bank, but you know, you got to raise money, and you still got the rest of it happening. Yeah. So it's like,
and you want to be good at negotiating with, you know, the current landlord, because again, if I was to do one, I would want it over a longer period so that I can have, you know, a reasonable income from it. Like, I wouldn't want to sign up to one for 2-3 years, because for me, you know, that just wouldn't be worthwhile. If I'm going to invest in the property to add value to it, force the appreciation, and obviously create a cash flowing asset, then the landlord is essentially getting you to do the job for them, and then they take it back at the end of the 2-3 years. So I would want a much longer term. But then if you're going to do that anyway and get like a 5 to 10 year term, why not just do it on a lease option? Just purchase it on a lease option. So then, you know, they can walk away, give them some kind of an income, you get an income, but then you're going to own the asset at the end of it at a good buy price because you've agreed it, you know, 5-10 years prior, in my opinion.
So listen, we've got 3 minutes.
The key thing is here is
so I was just going to say, we've got 3 minutes before our mastermind, Paul.
Okay.
Let's quick fire your answer. Yeah, quick fire your answer, and then we'll wrap it up for the guys.
Yeah, there's many other strategies that people should look at and consider before rent to rent. Money can be made, but there's better ways.
Yeah, I think
that's
so
my
too.
political response.
yeah, but because I think so too. You know, for people who want to do that and are doing it, fine, that's great. Just don't think there's much exit kind of value on it. Obviously, there's so many other strategies that you can do that, make the same amount of money, if not more.
And if you have
you've got the wealth as well.
If you have the right coaching, training around you, they can teach you to do the more hold strategies where you can own the asset as well.
If you want to do that, where I've seen it and where people are using it in our tribe is they use it so they can leave their job.
Yeah, so it's quick,
which is fine, and then you want to get into more serious. But we've had people who were doing it, they came into our stuff, and then they quickly switched to buying, and you know, they're smashing. So hey, listen, there's a mastermind right now for you guys, so you've not got much of a break. 8 o'clock, so all your Real Life Tribe members, make sure you log on to that. You will have their link in your email.
Paul's going to come on that for the next 2 hours.
Paul, absolute pleasure. Great to spend some more time speaking to you. I'm sure we'll see each other and interact with each other, you know, again at some point very soon. So thank you so much. Come and sharing your knowledge and your expertise on here. Much appreciated. Adding value to people. You know, this is online, so feel free to share this video so, you know, all your people can see it, or whoever needs to see that.
Yeah, great stuff. I'll do that. Thanks for having me. Awesome. Had great fun. So let's do it again. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Lovely to speak to you, Paul. You're amazing.
Okay.